Ministry of Home Affairs has extended the nationwide lockdown for a further period of 2 weeks till the 17th of May. The central government has given fresh clarifications on the norms which will be prevailing in the red, orange and the green zones. Now, only e-commerce sales of essential will be allowed in the red zones. Non-essential sale will be allowed in green and orange zone. As far as the liquor sales is concerned, it will be allowed in the green and orange zones and only by a standalone shop in the red zone. The salon can operate in the orange and the green areas, but not in the red zones. Now, the government has left the decision about the household help and about the daily walks bit to the local administration. The RWAs will also have a major role in that. My colleague Arunima, who's been tracking all the details from the MHA, what's allowed, what's not allowed. She's been speaking to a slew of officials. She's joining us on the broadcast. A shout out to all of you to give us a call and ask if any questions you have about what is allowed in your area, in your locality. We'll help you get all of that answer. Arunima, why don't you, give us some key pointers, the latest set of clarifications which have come from the MHA, the sale of liquor, barber shops, which are the activities which will be allowed in the green and the orange zones?
Let's start with the liquor shops. There's no distinction being made between liquor shops and any other shop, unlike last time, where only shops which were registered under the Shops and Establishment Act were allowed. This time, in red zone, any shop which is a standalone shop, which is a neighborhood shop, and which is not in a market complex or a mall is allowed. In orange and green zone also, any shop which is not in a mall, any other shop is allowed, including liquor, pan, cigarette, anything. Spitting is can invite penal action if you spit in a public space. So if you are going to a pan shop or a woodcar or tobacco shop, please beware, don't spit around. What also is allowed is, if you're getting another question, Anusha, then
yes. Arunima, we have some callers and I'll quickly go to the callers and perhaps then you can answer the queries they have. Dr. Nagrat is joining us from Noida and Mehul Joshi from Mumbai. Let me quickly first go to Dr. Nagrat. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for calling us. What is the question you have?
Nice of you. My question is very simple. MHA has issued the directions. I'm calling from Noida. As a president of RWA, we are in a green zone.
Okay.
Green to green, there is a restriction. Green to yellow, there is a restriction. The shops are all closed, and there is no order. We can't do anything unless we get order from the DM. I had been ringing up DM is not answering. So
yeah,
this
sir,
is
can you specifically tell us what are the things you are not able to do? Which are the activities that you wanted to do?
The activities are all shops, say your dry cleaning, barber, ration, vegetables. These are the common daily use items.
Okay.
And nothing, all shops are lying closed. Even the chemists are not opening in time. So all these problems are there. And secondly, the other major problem is where at site labor has not moved out. We have in our project 300 laborers with the residing there from last 4 years.
Okay.
They are not being allowed to work.
Okay. Let me discuss this.
They are not migrated.
Yeah.
They are staying there, but they should be allowed to work.
Right. Let me discuss this with my colleague Arunima. Arunima, you just heard what the gentleman had to say. So he's basically saying as far as Noida is concerned, even the movement within the area is very difficult. The classification is there into certain areas in different categories. What do you make of this query?
Dr. Nagrat, just give it another 24 to 48 hours. You waited patiently. The MHA has issued guidelines, but you will have to wait for the state government notification to come. That is why you've been told call up the DM, and the DM is unable to answer your query because the instruction from Lucknow has not come. We told Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister, took a meeting early this morning. Anshu Mishra was reporting on that. In that meeting, these issues were discussed, and it's the same thing for all states. The states will have to now come up with notification for implementation of the MHA guidelines. So people who have waited patiently for more than a month now, I request them to just wait for another 2 days. By Monday, before Monday, I'm sure states will notify, and then these shops that you're mentioning will begin to function. As far as construction laborers are concerned, yes, government has allowed construction activity in areas where laborers are on site, but there are other practical factors also which perhaps is preventing the contractor or the builder from starting work.
That's true, and I agree when Arunima is saying that, Dr. Nagarat, we'll have to tread with a little bit of more patience. Thank you for highlighting all the problems which are coming. It is important to highlight these issues as well so that the administration can take cognizance of them. Mehul Joshi from Mumbai is also with us on the broadcast. Mehul, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking to us. Tell us your questions. All right, let me try and go to retired Colonel TPS Gill, who's calling us from Chandigarh. Good afternoon, Colonel. Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir. What is your question?
So my question is, see, I'm a retired Army officer, and this is the problem with all the veterans who have retired from Army, whether they're officers, JCOs or us. The canteens, Army canteens are closed for last almost 1.5 months. And we depend for all our requirements of all canteen requirements from the CSD canteen. So they are closed. Are they going to open now, or are they still remaining closed?
All right, so I'll get that answered with my colleague Arunima, but let me also take another question. Manjesh is calling us from Hassan in Karnataka. Manjesh, thank you for calling us. What is the question you have?
Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon.
Madam, actually, I think you might have heard what happened today in Bangalore Majestic bus stand. And my concern was, having seen in the TV that so many migrants who had come there from faraway different cities to work there, and they were given the opportunity to go back to their concerned places, taking double, triple the amount of the bus fare, madam, actually. And one more second point is, did the concerned administrative officers see to it that all the migrants who were there in the bus stand, were they quarantined? Did they see to it that any one of them was not a positive case in that particular Majestic bus stand, madam?
So it is the Majestic bus stand in Bengaluru where you, the incident which you're talking about, right, sir?
For example, if the ticket fare is 200 rupees, they were charging more than 600 rupees per head for the migrant, actually, madam. Those migrants were here in Bangalore for 1.5 months without any single money in their pocket, and they have charged double, triple the amount to go back to their concerned places. How is it possible?
All right. Let me discuss this with Arunima, who's back with us on the broadcast. Arunima, we had a retired Army officer with us on the broadcast from Chandigarh, and his query was that about the Army canteens have remained closed for about 1.5 months, and most of the retired Army officers are dependent on these canteens for their daily essential needs. Are they likely to open with these, clarifications coming out?
Well, I'm surprised that has happened because all kinds of essentials are selling shops now. Any grocery shop which was selling an essential commodity, even e-commerce websites which were selling essential commodities were allowed. So if the Army canteens were not functioning, I think the Ministry of Defence will have to clarify. The Ministry of Home Affairs is not, I've not read any guideline, any notification which has prevented any outlet which is selling essential items from not doing so. So I'm glad the gentleman raised this query. Whoever in the Ministry of Defence is listening to this broadcast, please take note. I'll also, on my part, find out after this broadcast and try and get back on our social media page for an answer to the gentleman's question.
All right, so this is a word that we are putting out, that Ministry of Home Affairs has no role here. Ministry of Defence has to clarify on this. We'll follow up on this question as well. I have another question, Arunima, that a gentleman from Karnataka had. He was pointing out to an incident in Karnataka, in Bengaluru, where hundreds of migrants gathered at the bus stop. Certain tickets were being sold at overpriced rates. There were no norms of social distancing which were followed. Perhaps this is an incident where some buses are being allowed, but because of the volume of the migrants you have, the norms of social distancing are not being followed. How severe of a violation is that of the MHA guideline?
See, MHA guidelines have not really allowed buses to fly or trains to fly where you can just buy a ticket and hop on and get to any choice of your destination of your choice. That is not what MHA has allowed. What it has said is that the state government must appoint a nodal officer. That nodal officer should have an account of all those migrant laborers, students, tourists, pilgrims who are stuck and who want to go back home, and then arrange for public transport. Now, whether once the government has arranged for public transport, it decides to ask these people to pay the basic price or not, that has been left to the state government. Or if these people want to hire their own taxi or own private vehicle and go, the nodal officer can give them a curfew pass. But this incident, what he is reporting, where at a normal bus depot, tickets were being sold and people were being overcharged, I think the Karnataka administration should take note, because this is a clear violation of what the Ministry of Home Affairs has laid out in the guidelines.
Absolutely. And this is to tell all our viewers that if you're seeing a violation around you, report it to the authorities, report it to the district administration. And it's only in this manner that we can get all the lockdown rules and the norms which have been issued by the MHA and the state government implemented in true letter and spirit for our own safety. Shabnam Gulati from the National Capital is also joining us. Good afternoon, Shabnam. Thank you for calling us. What are your thoughts?
Good afternoon. I'm staying in Greater Kailash, one Hempel colony. I'm aware it's a red zone. I just wanted to clear, can the maid come?
Okay, it's a red zone. Arunima, can the maid come?
What the Ministry of Home Affairs has said is that anybody who's self-employed, who doesn't depend on public transport, and who is being allowed to come back by the employer, there is no objection that the ministry has. But when we asked them specifically about maids or house help, here is the answer. They said they have no objection if your house help comes only to your place to work. You are the only employer. So then it's between you and your house help. You decide amongst yourself what is the kind of social distancing norm you will practice, what is the kind of precaution you will practice. But if your help goes to 5 different houses, then in the interest of your safety, in the interest of the safety of your house help, as well as in the interest of the other people in whose residence the help is going, it is avoidable, is what the ministry is saying. Okay. But it is also saying that the ultimate notification will come from the state government. So just wait for another 24 hours, ma'am. Maybe by tomorrow, Arvind Kejriwal government will clarify if they have any objection to house helps coming to your aid at your place.
So, Shabnamji, what Arunima is telling us is that we should wait for the Delhi government to clarify. But meanwhile, what we know, that if your house help is only coming to your house, she has a vehicle through which she's coming, a scooty, or somebody can go and pick her up. She's not going to the other houses to work. Your RWA doesn't have any objection, or the local society, then she can come and work. But we have to wait for the Delhi government to clarify more on this matter. We have another caller, Rajesh from the National Capital is calling us. Rajesh, what are your thoughts?
Hi, hi, ma'am. I'm calling and I'm from the Dwarka area, Dwarka sector 10. Okay, I just wanted to know, in Dwarka we have markets which only grocery stores are open, okay? But they do have liquor shops available there, but they are closed. So will they now be open in that area?
So these are standalone shops?
No, these are market 30-50 stores altogether. Only grocery stores are open.
Okay, let me ask that. Arunima, you just heard what Rajesh is saying. It looks like a marketplace. All right, we also have Amit Mukherjee from Kolkata. And before I take in a word from Arunima, I want to take this another question and then we'll get it answered. Amit, you're calling us from Kolkata. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
My
sir.
son has got stuck up in Noida. He got a ticket of around 4th May, not around, exactly on 4th May, from Delhi to Kolkata in air. Earlier he had a ticket with whether they will be allowed to come down to Kolkata, because we are aged parent.
Right,
we
sir.
are waiting for his coming. In this lockdown, actually Noida falls under red zone and Kolkata also falls under red zone.
Sir, what
Earlier
sort of
they had
a
cancelled
ticket?
their
What sort of a ticket he had?
He had a ticket with, I hope, with this Go Air or SpiceJet. I don't know particularly.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Madam.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you, sir. I've taken your question. Let me discuss this with Arunima as well. Arunima, there is a gentleman, Amit Mukherjee, is calling us from Kolkata. His question is that basically his son is stuck in Noida. Earlier, he had booked a ticket with Go Air. I think it's an airline that he's talking about. And he wants to know, because these are, old elderly parents, will the son be able to come back any soon? But I don't think airlines are allowed any operation as of now.
Well, I sympathize with Mr. Mukherjee and all the elderly who've been stuck in this lockdown. But Mr. Mukherjee, sir, airlines are not functioning, and even though Air India has asked its crew to prepare for partial functioning in the middle of May, there is no word from the aviation ministry yet. So we don't know if the airlines will get permission anytime soon. The only thing I can suggest is if your son can get in touch with the district magistrate of Noida, explain his circumstance, that you are aged and you need his help, and therefore he should be permitted to drive down. If he gets that permission, that's the only way he can reach you, and that too is on the discretion of the district magistrate, because if he permits you, your son, to take care of you in this situation, realizes it's an emergency, only then will the curfew pass come. Otherwise, he'll have to wait for a bit longer till public transport opens.
Well, Mr. Mukherjee, take care and stay patient. The air operations as of now are not resuming, so no, that ticket is not valid. And perhaps he has to ask for a refund, but he can seek a permission from the district magistrate, the DM, as Arunima is pointing out, and only through road he can travel. As of now, that is what we know. Earlier, Arunima, we also had another caller, Rajesh from Delhi, and he was calling from Dwarka. He said that there is a market where you have a lot of grocery stores, but there is a marketplace of a sort, looks like a local market, where they have liquor shops. Now, these don't qualify as standalone liquor shops. They are in a marketplace. Will they be allowed to open?
No, because Dwarka is in Delhi. Delhi right now is all of 11 districts are in the red zone. And in red zone, only standalone shops and shops in neighborhoods are allowed. Anything which is in a market complex or which is in a market has been disallowed in a red zone. So we'll have to see whether, Delhi government has made this request to the Ministry of Home Affairs that instead of district-wise zoning, make it ward-wise. So if that zoning is approved of and if Dwarka moves from a red zone to an orange or a green zone, then a market complex can be allowed, and then a liquor shop in that market complex or a market will be allowed. Otherwise, I don't think any shop in that market area, including the liquor shop, can function because there is a red zone at this moment.
So, Rajesh, it looks unlikely that those shops in the Sector 10 market are going to happen. I have three more callers. Mansa is calling us from Bengaluru, Mr. Subrata Ghosh calling from Delhi, and Rodriguez from Mumbai. Let me go to Mansa first, who's calling us from Bengaluru. Good afternoon. Thank you for calling us. What are your questions? Mansa, if you can hear me.
Hello.
Yes, sir, if you can hear me. Mansa, if you can hear me, I want to take the question first to Mansa from Bengaluru.
Yeah. When will the law courts will be reopened?
The law courts be reopened. Okay, that's a question that a lot of lawyers will have. Arunima, you want to talk about that?
The courts are already functioning at, at some kind of staff strength. Video conferencing are the means that judges have resorted to. But if you're talking about full-scale opening of the courts, like we used to know before the lockdown happened, that will take time. However, if you see the government notification, 33% of staff strength has been allowed. In government offices, senior officers will have to come to work. Their staff members, 33% is what has been allowed. Law firms are also allowed to function at 23% staff strength. So the high courts, the respective high courts, the Supreme Court and the district courts will now have to take a call if they want to reopen at 33% staff strength as the Ministry of Home Affairs has allowed. But I think that call will be taken at the highest level by the Supreme Court of India and at the state level by the respective high courts.
So, Mansa, the way it works is that the local respective high courts will take a call about the district courts, what strength they can work upon. But the courts, as we used to know them before, the bustling corridors and the overcrowded courtrooms, that is not happening anytime soon. You will only have very limited urgent litigation work being taken up by the respective high courts and even at the Supreme Court. Subrata Ghosh also calling us from the national capital. Subrata, what is your question? Good afternoon. Thank you for calling us. Tell us your thoughts.
Madam, thank you very much for taking my question. I'm a senior citizen. I have advice to give it to you, the government, through you, the government. All the money that is lying in the temple, in the mosque, in the Gurdwara, in the church, everywhere, the trust money, that is our money. Why can't the government force them to take out this money and give it to these poor people, That is number one. Number two, nobody is talking about the people who are sailing on. I'm a merchant navy person who retired as a chief engineer from merchant navy. My son was also in the merchant navy. The people who are working in ship, nobody is talking about them because these people are so badly stuck. My friends, somebody's son or somebody is stuck there. Neither they can come back to India, they cannot go back to their port. Neither somebody is going to relieve them also. So listen to me, please. Don't disconnect my lines. Very important.
Yes,
I voluntarily told the shipping company, I am 71 years old. If I can be sent in a ship to relieve somebody, I'm ready to do it. Like that, there are a lot of people who are retired. My batchmates in 71, 19, DVD. We are all ready to go and help these people. If we can be, we are all retired people. We can go in the ship and stay there and get these people relieved. Nobody is talking about it. And my last question is, we have realized it. When you are in trouble, you go to doctors. You don't go to temple, mosque or masjid. All this temple area, all the places have got so much of land, which should be used for camping these poor people. Make tents for them, let them stay, separate them out from the jugis and let them stay in those tents and everything, because this is of no use. All the temples are closed, all the mosques is closed, everything is closed. And you don't go to anybody, you go to a doctor whenever you're in trouble.
Right,
So what's the point having so much of land,
Right.
It might not be good for a lot of people, but this is a hard question. You must listen to this.
Sir, I respect your sentiments, I respect your thoughts, and thank you for sharing them. Scientific temper must be promoted in our country, and I hope that the government and the people of the country are listening to you and what you are saying. I hope certain suggestions that you're making perhaps in some spirit can be taken up. Rodriguez from Mumbai is also calling us. Rodriguez, good afternoon. Thank you for calling us. What are your thoughts?
Hi, first of all, thank you so much for opening up this line so you can address common citizens' question. I am Mr. Rodriguez. I'm calling you from Powai in Mumbai, and I have a senior citizen mother staying at home who's quite unwell and would require the assistance of a maid. And I want to understand, Mumbai being in the containment zone, what is it that we could tell our housing society to be able to enable a maid to come and work at our place? What do we require to tell them?
All right. Arunima, this is a containment zone in Mumbai. There is an elderly person who needs the household help for day-to-day activities. What would be your suggestion?
Okay, two things I'll have to ask you, Mr. Rodriguez. If you're in a containment zone, there's very little hope for you. I think you will have to look for somebody to stay with you 24/7, because in a containment zone, coming and going is not allowed. The perimeter security will be such that police will just not allow anybody to come in and then go out. So that's not allowed. However, if you're in a red zone and not a containment zone, you should actually tell your RWA that the Ministry of Home Affairs, in its last notification on the 20th of April, and even before that, allowed senior citizens, if they needed any kind of assistance, any help, any maid, then that was allowed in the NHA guidelines. And if you are in a red zone, then the RWA cannot stop you from getting somebody. However, you'll have to be wary of anybody who's going to 4 or 5 different houses. Just ensure that the person who's coming to help your ailing parent is only coming and spending time at your house, and other social distancing measures, precautions are taken. I also want to answer the question of the previous caller who was talking about people in merchant navy. There is an MSA guideline specifically issued earlier, repeated yesterday, about seafarers, and it says that people who are on board ship, if the ship has reached Indian waters, they are allowed, the shipping company is allowed to change the crew. And this has happened. I mean, there was a crew which was wanting to go back, and it was allowed. So I don't think Mr. Ghosh's information is correct there.
All right. Thank you so much for clarifying that. I have 2 callers in very limited time, Anuradha from Mumbai and Urvashi from Gurugram. Anuradha, do you quickly want to tell us your question? Okay, Urvashi, do you want to take a question from Urvashi from Gurugram is with us on the broadcast. So Urvashi, do you want to tell us your question?
Yeah, sure. Actually, we have a provisional store in Delhi, Delhi. So I just wanted to ask whether the timing has been set for, the provisional store.
Okay,
like the Delhi police has commanded that there would be the timing. In the morning, it's 8 to 10 a.m. and in the evening, it would be open from, 6 to 10.
Okay, so you live in Gurugram, but your provisional store is in Delhi, and you want to know the timings of it, right? If there are any opening timings.
Yeah. Is there any specific timing set by the Delhi government?
All right, Arunima, if you can quickly clarify that bit, that is there a timing that has been decided by the Delhi government?
We are waiting for the Delhi government's order post the latest round of guidelines from the Ministry of Home Affairs. One thing I can tell you about the timing is that there will be curfew from 7 in the evening till 7 in the morning. So you can't open your shop beyond 7 o'clock if it is not an essential item. Even for essential items, I think there will be restriction post 7 o'clock. Whether otherwise there will be restrictions or not, again, we'll have to wait for the latest Delhi government notification.
Let's wait for the next 24 hours and see what the guidelines that the Delhi government comes up with from 7 a.m. to those 12 hours. there would be a curfew-like situation, as Arunima is pointing out. But more specific guidelines will come as and when the state governments notify. All right, that was the special broadcast. Arunima getting us all the very important details. Thank you, Arunima, for putting it into perspective about what's allowed, what is not allowed. We are still figuring that out. State governments, district administrations will give you more clarity in the next 24 hours. With that, it's a wrap from me on this edition. Thank you for watching this side.